Hi, and welcome to our first weekly update for summer school. I'm going to do my best to quickly go over some course updates and reminders and then briefly discuss the content that's covered this week. Okay, so let's start with updates and reminders, okay? So the first thing to remember is to access your Financial Algebra A course link to complete coursework, okay? So let me show you real quick what I mean by accessing your financial aid coursework link, okay? So let's return here to the classroom. Okay, so right here we're in the Financial Algebra A course. We're inside the classroom folder, and right here we've got this like ruler frame icon, and next to it it says Financial Algebra. Click this content to access your course. I'm going to click on that. I'm going to tell you real quick, I'm logged into this course, to our course, as a fake student, and that fake student is enrolled in both Financial Algebra A and Financial Algebra B. Okay, so her dashboard looks a little different than most of your dashboards. There is one of our students that is in A and B at the same time, and so their dashboard will look the same, but most of you will only have one course listed, okay? So I'm going to click this link, and then we're going to wait a second as it opens. Okay, and so then it's going to open here, and it's your dashboard. Like I said, currently this student is enrolled in A and B. You will not have two links. Most of you will only have the one. So mine is the top one. I'm going to click A. And when I click it, our financial algebra course is open, okay? And all of our unit content, activities, quizzes, tests, that's all right here, okay? And we only access it through Schoology. We come into Schoology, we log into our course, we go into the course classroom, and we click that link. There is no need to have a username or an account for your financial algebra course, okay? You just access the course through Schoology, okay? Okay, so the next thing I want to ask is, have you downloaded your assignment schedule? So remember, the assignment schedule lists all the required daily coursework, so be sure to use it to stay on track in the class. One thing I want to mention, as I was reviewing the assignment schedule, I saw a discussion assignment listed. This is an error, okay? We will not be completing any discussion activities or assignments this summer, so if you see a discussion, just ignore it. The next thing I want to talk about is the idea of understanding my grading and gradebook policies, okay? So due to the accelerated pace of summer school, I grade in such a way that ensures that you, me, and our mentor know exactly where you are grade-wise in the course at any given time, okay? So let me explain some things about the course and about my grading that will help to ensure that your grade is as current as possible. So first thing to understand, you remember in that financial algebra course link that you click, you read all your content there, you complete all your quizzes there, and you complete all your tests there. So since you complete them there, the scores then reside there inside that course. Okay, so it's important to understand that I have to go in to that course, review the coursework that you've done, and transfer those grades from the course to our Schoology gradebook. The Schoology gradebook, which you would access through the Grades tab on Schoology page, on your Schoology page. Okay, so it's important to understand a couple of things. If you see a course grade in the financial algebra course, that is not an official grade. Your official grade is the grade that is listed on the Schoology Grades tab, okay? So with regards to transferring those grades from the financial algebra course into the Schoology gradebook, I want you to understand that I transfer grades twice a day, once in the morning and once at night, okay? If you've done a lot of work in between those times and you would like to see it reflected, or let's say maybe you were missing some stuff and you would like to see those things reflected in your grade, please reach out to me and just let me know you've done some coursework, and I will do my best to update your grade in Schoology as soon as I can. So now that we understand how completed assignments get transferred from the financial algebra class to the Schoology gradebook, let's talk about assignments that are not completed, okay? So it's important to understand I will mark assignments not submitted by the day after they were due. I'll mark them with a missing in Schoology, okay? So a missing equates to a 0 in your grade calculation, okay? So what does that mean? Let's think of this as an example. So the Unit 1 Lesson 1 quiz is due today, Tuesday, June 21st, okay? If the quiz is completed on time, I'm going to transfer the quiz grade from the financial algebra course into the Schoology gradebook. However, if the quiz is not completed by tomorrow, Wednesday, June 22nd in the evening, if it's not completed by then, I'm going to mark that as missing in the Schoology gradebook, okay? And so then your grade is then negatively affected. Please note that missings in the gradebook are not permanent. They are just temporary. And as soon as the coursework that was marked as missing has been completed, I will replace the missing with the grade that you earned. Okay? So next thing to talk about, if you have any questions, reach out to me about that. Okay? So the next thing we need to talk about is that we need to meet. Right? So the goal of our DVS administrators this summer is that all teachers and students meet at least once in the first week of school. Okay? So meaning this week. To satisfy this requirement, we need to meet very briefly. Okay? And truthfully, the length of the meeting is going to be dependent on your needs, not my needs. So for me, my requirements are 1, that we just introduce ourselves. Okay, and then 2, then you have to demonstrate a couple things for me. 1, you need to demonstrate that either you have downloaded your assignment schedule or you know where to access your assignment schedule to figure out what you need to complete each day of school. Okay. The other thing I need you to demonstrate to me is that you have accessed that financial algebra course link. Okay. But besides that, those are the only things I need. Our meeting can go any length beyond that. If you have questions or concerns, you can feel free to ask me then. Okay? So a couple things to note about our meet. Video is not required. Okay? And in truth, I'm not even going to use video myself. I don't use video during meetings unless I'm required to. And I'm not in this instance. So you'll just hear my voice. You won't see my face. You'll see just like a little icon for me. Okay. So you can choose to use your video or choose not to use your video. That's completely up to you. You do whatever makes you feel comfortable. Okay. The other thing to note about our meeting, like I said, it needs to be done this week. The times are flexible so long as it's done this week. So when you have some time, when you're working on something, reach out to me. And I'll try to do my best to get it scheduled at that time. Remember, however, I'm in Virginia, and so if you're going to reach out to me in the middle of the night, I'm not going to be able to meet with you. But during the day hours in Virginia, day to night hours, so long as I'm not sleeping, you reach out to me, we'll try to make that happen. Okay? So then the last thing that's really important to remind you about is that automatic course withdrawal reminder. Remember, if you haven't completed the first 3 days worth of coursework by Thursday of this week, Thursday the 23rd, you will be automatically unenrolled from the class and you will not be able to re-enroll. So what are the first 3 days of coursework? It's those first 3 assignments in the Orientation Begin Here folder, and it's the first 2 lesson quizzes of Unit 1. So the Unit 1 Lesson 1 quiz and the Unit 1 Lesson 2 quiz. Okay. So all of those 5 activities, assignments, they need to be submitted by Thursday in order to stay in the class. So be sure you do that. Okay. So let's move on quickly and talk about the content that's going to be covered this week. Okay. So we're working on, this week we're going to cover the first 5 lessons of Unit 1. It's important to note that Unit 1 only has 6 lessons, and that 6th lesson is a wrap-up. So that's where you're going to have your unit review and your unit test. So basically, everything we're doing this week is the content to prepare you for that unit test early next week. Okay? So I'm not going to read the lessons that are introduced this week. However, I've got this little asterisk next to lesson 3, inflation and recession. And the reason I put that there is because I wanted to remind myself to talk to you about this. So a lot of times when we're learning about math and stuff like that, we're like, well, how is this important to me? How is this relevant? I just wanted to bring up to you, currently in the United States, we're experiencing increased inflation, and economists throughout the US believe that we are on the verge of a possible recession. So, as you're reading this, I want you to kind of think about have that as your focus as you're reading it. Like, how is this affecting the US? How might this be affecting you or your community, or or your parent or guardian, or any of these kind of things? Just think about that as you're reading them. Okay, so the last thing I want you to remember about our content is that, and particularly about our lessons, is that each lesson includes a study guide, which can be found in the Unit 1 folder in the classroom, but it can also be found inside the financial algebra course link. Okay, so be aware that you can use any completed study guides on lesson quizzes and unit tests. So it's a good idea to be using those study guides as you're working through each lesson. Okay, so the other thing to be aware of is that every lesson has a quiz, or almost every lesson has a quiz. Most lessons have quizzes, but the big thing I wanted to remind you of is that you actually have 2 attempts at every lesson quiz. Okay, so if for any reason you want to use that second attempt, it's not automatically provided to you. Instead, I have to give it to you. So if you want to use that second attempt for whatever reason, you just reach out to me and tell me, hey, Miss Boylan, I'd like to have a second attempt on this lesson's quiz. Make sure you tell me the unit number and the lesson number, right? So that I can go in there and give you a second attempt on it. And then I'll get you that second attempt as soon as possible. And the highest grade of the 2 attempts will then be recorded in Schoology. Okay, so that's it for this week. Be sure to stay in communication with me. Reach out to me to get those live meets taken care of. And with that, I'll talk to you soon.